everyone. This is Zack from IrisVision, and I've got Tom here with me. Thank you for joining us for our webinar. Tom's going to talk about all the features that we have in our new version, the IVOS 2.6, and then towards the end, we're going to take some questions. If you have joined on your computer, you should be able to see our video. And if you have any questions, you can put in the chat section. So below the video, you should see it says chat, so you can type in your questions there, and we can answer those for you. I would request once we start to place yourself on mute. And if you have any questions, you can unmute yourself and you can ask us. So I will just hand it over to Tom.
Good morning, everyone. Tom here, and glad to you. Webinar will also be recorded video, and for those who cannot make it, or if you want to refresh yourself, this video will be available in the future. So we're glad you're logged in. You know, the IrisVision, this new 2.6 upgrade, is about our fourth software upgrade in the last year, and very committed to continuing to build and change and make it better with the company-wide with the software people, and primarily feedback from local doctors, from distributors, resellers, have really instrumental in giving us great feedback. And that quickly goes into a process now. We've hired some more staff as we build this company. And continue to send us your feedback. You can always email me, tom@irisvision.com, zack@irisvision.com. And we will integrate and that feedback to make it better and better and better. So I think that's what makes us stand apart from others. I think obviously that makes us stand apart from others. They're hearing feedback from VAs and other centers around the country. The capability of remotely being able to log in, to shoot, to do upgrades, and we've expanded that staff here also, and build, and so remote help. Maybe at the end I'll have Jerome come in, because a lot of you talk to Jerome, and he has several staff that work with him on that. So let's right into some of the new changes. And so I'm talking about turning it on and turning it off, because that's changed a little bit. As a user, I use IrisVision quite a bit myself. One thing I tell people to get in the habit of, if you have the device on, just take it off temporarily. Is to someone who put
be watching. If you could please put yourselves on mute. We have a lot of folks on the call, and they will not be able to hear us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So if I'm using the IrisVision, I would push not the mode button, but the picture button for about 4 seconds, and then take it off your head. So have your customer get in the habit of remembering to do that every time. And what that does is it puts the IrisVision to sleep. They can either leave it asleep, which it does go down a little bit in battery life, but it'll last for hours and hours that way. Or obviously getting in the habit of taking it off and just setting it right on the charger. So
like Tom suggested, you know, if the user, let's say they're at home and they are not using their IrisVision anymore, if they press and hold down the picture button for 4 seconds, it will put the device to sleep right away, and they can put it on the table or the charging pad. That's what we recommend. Now, if you forget to do that, IrisVision will still go to sleep within 2 minutes after placing it on the charging pad.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Shutting off the old way and the new way is the same, but we've got it a different way now to shut it off. So the old way still works. It's going to the screen that says focus, and I'm holding down the mode button for 15 seconds, and it says out loud, shutting down. So that, you have to have that up against your face and hold it down, and then until you hear shutting down. Once you hear shutting down, you take it off your face. And I like that way because it's loud and clear for those who have hearing impairment, like me. I know that it's shutting down. Now, the new way involves, of course, the hardware change in the on-off button, which is located right in the front of the device. The on-off button will allow you to hold that down. It makes a tone, but the tone for me is kind of hard to hear. But just a new way to shut it down, just holding it down.
Hold it down, and you'll notice that the screen will go black. Basically, the IrisVision has shut down.
Now turning it on, the new on-off switch, as you hold that down, you actually, every second, you'll actually feel a nice vibration to let you know that it's going to start to turn on. So that feature takes about, to go through the initial booting up, takes about 35 seconds, something like that. So you won't be, you won't see the focus screen immediately. Yeah. And
so a couple of use cases. When would you want IrisVision to be in standby, and when would you want it to be turned off? So if you're around the house, so you can just leave this IrisVision on the charging pad. It will put itself to sleep, or you can manually put it to sleep, and that's around the house. Now, if you're traveling somewhere and you want to save your battery, then you can completely shut down the device. And the two ways of shutting down what Tom talked about is either holding down the mode button for 15, 20 seconds, it'll shut it down, it'll announce it, or using the new on-off button. Just hold and press that down, and the screen will turn off. And you get to your destination, to the museum, or to your soccer game, just press and hold down. It will take 30, 35 seconds to boot, and you'll be ready to go.
Similar to the other version that we've left in there, turning on and off the voice prompts. So going to the focus screen with the device on your head, and then being able to hold you down on the touch pad. If you count slowly to 15, it will say voice prompts on, voice prompts off. So that's still available, still working fine. We also have a new way based on the new configuration menu, which we're going to go over extensively.
And I'll really talk about most of the time, what we've seen is that our customers will leave the voice prompts on. There are situations where they want it to be off. So, for example, if they're watching a movie or they're watching a theater play, they don't want to make IrisVision talk. So then they can just hold it on the touchpad while they're on the focus screen for like 15 to 20 seconds, and an audible sound will come up, and it'll say that voice prompts are off. And to turn on, you do the same thing.
Boost that for me, and I want to talk about the new capabilities. So 2.6, based on lots of feedback that we've gotten from professionals and others, is the ability to enable and disable the different modes. And that's a huge help to a lot of people. It allows the customer to be pretty much customized in every situation. So in Pennsylvania, they were talking about working with some patients that were Alzheimer's patients and having some memory problems. So could have an IrisVision basic. We're starting with maybe the scene mode and the television mode, and that would be it. And then slowly, maybe if somebody gets used to it and building up and adding other modes. So now, as the practitioner, you'll be able to go ahead and do that, set it up for the customer the way that they want it. Another advantage to that, of course, is when you're changing modes and you want to go back to all the way around, you don't have to go through 8 or 9 different modes to get back to the series. We have a lot of feedback, too, that we received
And to add to that, I had a customer yesterday, and so when I demoed it to him, I kind of showed him all the modes. He only wanted 2 modes in there. He's like, you know, Zach, I just want the scene mode and the TV mode. The rest of the reading modes and the RP and the bioptic, I don't really need those. I'm glad that I know about it, so maybe later on, if I want them, I'll just give you a call and you can turn those on for me. But to start it off, I just need the scene mode and the TV mode, and that's how I configured it for him. He said that I just really want it simple and easy. So now he only has the focus, the scene, and the TV mode.
That works good. Yeah. The difference between the scene and the TV mode, by the way, the television mode will not go to sleep. So we had feedback that those in scene mode were watching TV, they had a tall chair, and their head was perfect still watching a movie, that sometimes the unit thought it was not being used and would go to sleep. Really the only difference by having that television mode now, in most situations, it will not go. So it's really good. We have a new mode, it's called the RP mode, and really this has come from lots of research from our colleagues at Stanford and Johns Hopkins who've been working closely with us for patients with a field restriction. So as you may know, those with glaucoma perhaps, or nice pigmentosa and other conditions where they are reduce their peripheral vision, we can
webinar
the scene that they're looking at and be able to place it right in their mode of vision, smaller, and be able to increase that. So let me try to explain that for those who are not super familiar with how that works. So as we know, IrisVision has a 70-degree field of view. It's huge compared to others on the market. So let's say this is a pretty scene with people sitting in chairs. Let's say I have 5 chairs, and I have 3 people and chairs on the end with no people. Let's say so includes 5 chairs. Chair on each end is empty and 3 people in the middle. Obviously, if you have glaucoma or whatever, and if you have a reduced field of view, you can only be able to see maybe 3 people and no chairs on the side. Or if you have a more extensive glaucoma, you may go down to you're only seeing 2 people in a particular scene. So now with the camera and with software, this can be done with other low-vision optical devices, is you take that entire scene, that 70 degrees, all of those chairs, and what you do is you actually virtually, I call it scrunching it down. I don't know if scrunch is the real word or not, but you take that, the exact same scene, and you scrunch it virtually out into space and place it right inside in peripheral vision, so they still see all the whole entire scene. Then the second part would be as you magnify. Now, a lot of people don't have a need for lots of magnification if they have a field loss, so maybe 2x or 3x. Then you can zoom in and magnify. And boy, we've had lots of people with field restrictions pretty much up out of their chair. Yeah. With RP, maybe they need to take that same image and even reduce it more, but maintaining the integrity of the entire image and place it in their vision 20%, as they have 20 degrees field or less even. That's a very good result with that. So the other RP mode that I like, for instance, is the standard view that we're looking at inside the IrisVision. We call it 80%. So there's a tiny little bit of black around the edges of the screen if you kind of pay attention to that. Some who have very severe, we can actually change that now and take that 80% view and push it to 90 or even 100. I've had really good results with people who are worse than 2400, who were getting down to 2050 or 2040. Then by the RP mode, just bring it even closer. You used to have to be able to do in the menus. now they actually have better results. So the only disadvantage is you lose a tiny bit of your field of view, but boy, you gain more central vision, which pushes from 80 to 100%. You still, like I said, only be able to do that in the menu.
So like Tom said, that is part of the mode. We call it the RP mode. And the touchpad, if you swipe your finger up and down, that's how you adjust the field. And it's really and simple to use. We tried it with many RP patients. We were at the Foundation Fighting Blindness Conference in San Diego, and we had a lot. And like Tom said, the results were just amazing, astonishing. They loved it. And the other thing with RP patients, you know, Tom, what we did was that we also took them to a darker room. And, you know, IrisVision, you know, has an auto bright adjust camera. It is a really smart camera. So if you take IrisVision into a darker room, it will brighten things up for you. And those folks were really amazed by the results.
They were. I was actually doing demos. We found a broom closet that we were using. Standing, this young man with RP standing about 8 feet away. Inside the closet, the door was cracked. There was a little bit of light, but not much. You couldn't see me standing there at all. Even the IrisVision, he was able to see my face, see my features. He and his dad they were pretty much blown away. So that's a really good point. We were in Georgia 2 weeks ago. I was working with a gentleman who was in an office space. Could not identify things in the room, and then he put the IrisVision on and was able to point out and see the entire room with the lights turned off. There was a little light coming in the window, but that was about it. So that's a really good point. If you can take a few questions now, and then I'll go into the configuration.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've gone through a lot of things here quickly.
Yeah, if you guys have any questions, we're open for questions now.
We can move along?
Yeah, we can continue. And are you guys hearing us okay?
Hearing you.
Okay, awesome.
All right, perfect. So enter the configuration mode. Use your finger and tap 5 times quickly and then swipe down. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you'll see that will pop up on the screen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, the first time I did it, it didn't show it. Sometimes you have to, just make sure you're hitting it 5 times quickly. Then swipe down. So now, when you're in this first screen of the configuration mode, you want to go to the mode button. I want you to realize when you're in there, I want you to go through and push the mode button. And this one,
urgent and put in last night. Why is it not? We didn't want to warn. I'm going to apply.
So you have 3 choices. Swipe up to go into what we call the visual parameters, which is similar to what we had before. This one says swipe up to or disable these modes that we talked about earlier. And then the third option is exit the configuration mode. So it's quite a bit different than it was before. So let's start with the up to go to the visual parameters. So the first is pupillary distance. It's normally set at 60. If somebody ever gets an image with the device, their distance probably a little bit too wide. So I'm down to about probably around 55 would be a good. And the way to change that is you simply go down and up, and you watch the screen set at the level that you'd like. Hit the mode button in. Go V, which is field of view. As I mentioned, that's at 80%. And so we really don't need to change that a lot now because we have the Drp mode. So people themselves can, if the Drp mode is they need. So we don't need to fool with that as much as we used to. Then one is so bubble position. Now bubble position is really interesting for those who I call it more of an intermediate skill, being able to bring that bubble out to the screen, either bigger or smaller, and within the bubble, being able to magnify it. So I talk about the bubble if I'm sitting at a table with 3 people and they're fairly far away, okay? I just use the bubble, make it fairly small so I can see the person's face. Still see the entire scene, I can still see all 3 people. I had that capability in low vision before. So then I get that small bubble, then I can zoom in and see the expression. And when the next person starts talking, I can move and put the bubble on their face. Now, again, I feel like I'm right in the conversation. I'm not losing my place like we used to in the old days. The bubble back to the telescope. Where am I? I'm still seeing the whole scene. So that's the beauty of the bubble. With the bubble being right in the middle of the screen, we had some feedback from others who kind of like to move the bubble a little bit to the right, maybe, or a little bit to the left, so that the bubble is still active, but the rest of the screen is open to be able to see. One woman was playing bridge. So, what we did is we moved the bubble more to her right eye, and she was able to look through the bubble and see the cards on the table. On the side of the screen, she could hold her cards normally and just look down. And the side of the screen that did not have the bubble on, she was able to see her cards. I thought, that is great. I'm going to start using that. I've been using it that way. I've moved the bubble over to the right side and let the rest of the screen open. And that seems to help in the situation. The brightness and the contrast. And now, through the mode button, swiping down to exit to the default, okay? So let me change something. We changed the people distance. We went to the next one, which says swipe down to exit. I'm advocating that we change what it says there. I think we should say swipe down to exit and save changes. That way you'll know that if you made a change, it's going to save it. So we're going to change that real quick. That's cool. It's a real easy change for us, software-wise. How you would do that. Swipe down to exit configuration. Do that. Go to the next area, which you enable or disable presets. So you'll see on the screen, and you can put this on, if you have the IrisVision with you now, is to each mode, like the scene on top, and then right under it, it says enable. You would swipe down to be enabled to disable. And then each scene has that. So the next one is Drp Mode enable, or swipe down to disable. Television, enable or disable. The biotic mode, enable or disable. The reading, so a lot of people don't want 5 reading modes. So you can simply enable or disable the modes that you'd like. Reading inverted. Reading line, then reading green, reading yellow. Then at the end of each of those modes, you swipe down, exit to the original screen. putting down out of the configuration mode. So you'll have to practice that, kind of get used to it. You know, I would recommend this every day. If you're a practitioner of the IrisVision, it doesn't come natural. I know it does for me because I'm a user of it. I think it's hard to pull it off the shelf and then on, where was I? You know, I really urge people to just kind of use it 5 or 10 minutes every day. Maybe take it out with you sometime to a museum or whatever, as a user might do. There's so many situations in life, I think, that the IrisVision opens up the whole world. I was at that Drp convention in San Diego, right? I'm walking along the ocean. I'm looking at scenery and things like that, which is also cool because I don't often carry any kind of visual aid to do that. But what struck me interesting was I saw all this activity. There was children running around. I didn't really tell what was happening. So great, I have the IrisVision with me. I put it on my head. I zoom in. Oh my God, they're doing face painting for children. And I was zooming in. I could see the kids' faces, and I could see how excited they were. And I was like in the scene, in the moment. I'm thinking to myself, well, that wouldn't have been on my list of things that I would use the IrisVision for. But these things come up in life, and they happen all the time. And so if you're using the IrisVision, there are things that we've had no way in the past of visual aids. So help your customers understand and prompt them to think about all the things in life that they're missing. And that leads me to the Lanyard, which is a new thing that we've added to IrisVision for the exact situations, carrying it around instead of carrying it in hand.
Absolutely. And I'll just quickly show you guys the lanyard here. So it's a regular lanyard. It has a clip on the side, so you can just clip it. Very easy to clip in and clip out. And then just either put it on your shoulder or and it's just like carrying a camera. So now if you around you, you can just pick it up and hold it to your eyes and just drop it down. It's standard with every IrisVision unit.
It gives your hand when you're shaking or doing other things with IrisVision. Makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take a few minutes and go through, see if any of you have questions at this point.
So we'll continue, and if you have any questions, just stop us and you can ask.
Talk about rebooting. Let's Zack.
Sure. If you reboot your device, you use the brightness buttons. Now, how Tom was telling you about entering the configuration menu, and then there's the brightness. You can adjust it there, but we've also given a shortcut to adjust brightness. It is right outside in front of the touchpad. Now, for example, if sometimes, if the IrisVision freezes, you have the ability to reboot it right from the headset. If you press and hold down the toggle button, that is the brightness button, for around 15 seconds, it's going to reboot itself. So what it is that it'll kill all the applications, reboot, and launch a new IrisVision. So if you ever come across freezing issues, just reboot it, and you should be set within 30 seconds.
What's new with the hardware, besides the on-off switch and the lanyard, is cord. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So what we noticed, our patients, sometimes they use vision for watching TV for an extended period of time. And what we decided is to include a longer cord that they can plug in directly into the wall, and they can use IrisVision for hours. If they're watching a baseball game, they can just keep on watching it. or for hours and hours. What the core is that it connects to the Type-C connector on the outside, and what we've included is a magnetic connector. Now, you just bring it close to the USB port, it will just automatically connect. Now, we've had mixed reviews on this magnetic connector. Some patients have told us that it kind of falls off really easily, but that's kind of the design of it. You don't want to, you know, pull the cord or break the cord on it, so it kind of disconnects. But we're thinking about just including a regular USB Type-C connector that you can plug in, and it's not going to out that easily. And you can plug this in. It is a 6-foot long cable, so it's pretty long, and you can just plug this in directly into the wall. Now, you can also use this cable to connect it to an external battery. Now, if you're on the move, if you're going someplace, you can take this cord with you, and this USB part goes into your external battery. You know, just a regular lithium-ion cell phone battery works great. It'll give you an extra 4 or 5 hours from it. Now, both of these, it will not charge the IrisVision. So, for example, if your IrisVision battery is at 8% and you put this into the wall, what's going to happen is that it's going to start drawing power from the external source. So the battery will remain at 80%, and it'll just draw power from the external source. It is not going to charge your IrisVision. But at the same time, you're not going to lose battery. You'll maintain the person.
Go into the new financing program, which we announced on our website, IrisVision.com.
You going to Chatterbox tonight?
Oh,
okay.
The question, or
start from here. I'll tell you about it.
please place yourselves on mute. We've got a lot of folks on the phone and creating a little.
Okay. So just give customers the option when they do go on the website to look into the financing program. The icon says affirm. That's on there. Yep. I've looked at it several times. Yep. Affirm is the option that they would click on. So you, as the practitioner, you want to go ahead and help them through this process so that you will get credit for the sale. The way that would work is I actually carry a tablet with you or your laptop if you're at a person's home to be able to go on the site and help them fill out all the information. Then they click on go, and within almost immediately they will get a approved or temporarily approved or not approved. So you will know instantly at that point if the person's approved. What we'll do is we'll put together a short form that you'll be able to email to us, and putting your name, of course, at the top, then the customer's name and the date of the sale. And that will be a way that we will know that came from you.
Absolutely. And, you know, like Tom mentioned, the financing program, I'm very excited about this program. Now, you know, a lot of times when we go out there and demo the IrisVision product, personally I've come across a lot of situations where the person's like, oh, I love this product, this is just amazing, but I can't afford it. You know, and, you know, I don't have the $2,500 to pay for it, but I know it's going to make a huge difference in my life. So for those folks, now we have the program available, and they can just go on our website. That's how they apply. Firm is the financing company, and it is a very easy process. We need their name, their phone number, the last four of their social, and the address, and that's it. And it's not really a credit check. It's a soft check, so it does not really affect their credit score. And once they get approved, you know, they get IrisVision, and they can choose a payment plan that could be as low as, you know, $90, $95 a month. If they go on a 36 term, or they can, you know, if they want to pay it off quicker, they have the option to do that also.
I think it's 6 months or 12 months. Or 36. I think 36 ends up being like $83 or something.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
A month.
Yeah.
So that's an option.
That is.
So depending on their credit score, the financing companies get a certain rate. So the better your credit score, your rate does get a little bit better on that. What I like about this financing company is that if you miss a payment, there is a penalty, but they don't jack your rate way up like some do. So that's an option for lots of people. We also know that just talking about that as an option to people open up a whole discussion. I know when I was with the Chicago Lighthouse, we had several financing plans that we would talk with customers about. And when it was all said and done, I would say 4 out of 5 would say, you know what, I'm just going to put it on my credit card.
Yeah.
But what it did is it opened up the discussion and gave us an opportunity to talk about that with people rather than to just say, oh, no, there's nothing available.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And share the process with you in an email, more detailed, but it's a very simple process. So, for example, if you go to a customer's house, they're interested in the financing option, you'll go to our website, apply the financing within 2 minutes, you'll get the approval, and once you get the approval, just share, send an email, share the person's name and phone number and address, and that way we know this is your customer, and once the thing starts, we're going to wait 30 days. That is the return period for IrisVision, so we're going to wait 30 days. After the 30 days, we're going to issue you the commission check either the 15th or the 30th of that month. So whatever comes earlier. So I think it's a really good tool to have for all folks who can afford IrisVision. You know, monthly payment of, let's say, $99 a month or so around that range, you know, can make it affordable, and they can get IrisVision right away.
Now, I bet we have a few finding end or anything that we've covered so far. Anyone have been? Well, if you're online, you can type in the chat box down below. You can type a question if you have one. Continue.
Yeah, we will. And if you are asking a question, make sure you unmute yourself, and then you can ask a question. So, yeah.
I want to talk about maybe some of our tricks and what we're learning about doing demonstrations.
Tom, can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh.
From Minneapolis. When are you going to get a better quality camera in the unit?
So we use off-the-shelf, as you know, off-the-shelf Samsung hardware. Right now, the phone and the camera system that you're using, it is top of the line. We're using an octa-core phone, which has a much more powerful CPU, GPU processing unit. We talked to Samsung about cameras. You know, the way they design these phones is that they're usually, you know, meant as cell phones. So a 16 megapixel camera right now is good enough. But also have a lot of things in the works. And one of the interesting things is that they are also working on a dual camera. Now, if we get a dual camera, which may be a year or 2 years down the road, all of a sudden our field of view from 70 degrees is going to increase to be 110 degrees or 120 degrees. So we are keeping an eye on it. Not only Samsung, we are also looking at Google, their Pixel phone. We've also looked at HTC. So all the phones that are on the market, our research department, which is led by Dr. Verblin, you know, is constantly keep an eye, and we want to make sure that we have the best hardware to run our platform.
Speaking of this is as a user, I've been urging people to do if they, in a situation where they want to be able to look at a painting for 30 seconds or longer, or any kind of situation, go ahead and take a picture. Get used to using the picture button Once you take that picture and then you zoom in, okay, so 12 megapixel is actually, I think I can even tell sometimes it's clearer than when you're in the live scene mode. And so by being able to do that, looking at text or looking at the mail, hitting that picture button and get used to how that operates. And I think that's going to help, and I'm using it more and more in different situations. But no, we're definitely looking at all these different options that Zack mentioned. Samsung is Dr. David Rue is the Chief Medical Officer about IrisVision when he's out and about. And you've probably seen the video, the recent format of the Vatican where he talked about IrisVision as therapeutic VR is where they're going with this. So Samsung is definitely behind us, and we're working closely together on all these options. Good vision, Kevin. Others that before these? Yeah. Yes.
This is Lily. I have a question regarding the batteries that you guys supply. Currently, we have been supplying a Mophie battery that's 6,000 mAh. So I'm getting from various sources. What is it that you have been supplying, and what is the cost on that?
Okay, so Julie, we don't supply external batteries. Most of our distributors, they have their own. We're thinking about it. Right now, we are considering a few battery companies, and we're going to brand also. So that's going to be probably available in the next few months. But right now, I usually recommend to folks that, if they want to get an external battery, they can go to Best Buy or Walmart or Target, and they can just, pick the size they like and pick the power of the battery also. So just depending on, what they want to use it. I've seen folks use a very extremely small battery that'll give them 2 extra hours to study, who's like an engineer, and he has like this big battery that gives him around 6 hours of continuous usage. So depending on their use, they can pick their own battery.
Buying a battery online, be careful, don't buy the very inexpensive one, just on price. Yeah. You explained that to me once, Zach, how the ones from China maybe push the power into the device too fast, and actually could damage the internal battery of the IrisVision. So you don't want to get one of those. Yeah, so what we recommend is a lithium-ion battery, and on average, we're looking at anywhere from $25 to $35, for like maybe a small-size battery. But, that is what you want to get. You don't want to really get a $10 battery. First, the life of the battery is going to be small, plus the charge that it kind of pushes into IrisVision, that could vary, and that could really affect the internal battery of IrisVision.
Okay, that's what we've been seeing with Mophies at Tom's suggestion.
Great.
And so far that's been working out well.
Great. The Mophie I have is in my pocket very easily with the cord. It has 2 8-hour days on there. Okay. So, it's really great if I go to a museum or somewhere where I'm going to be using it for 6 or 7 hours or something like that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, have kind of been doing this now for a year. I'm coming up on my 1-year anniversary, and you have been with the company since the start. And we do get an opportunity to do a lot of hands-on with persons who are visually impaired. And of course, it's been my career for 30 years involved, and as a person myself with vision, I'm excited and I see new things happening all the time. But we come up with a real simple approach, and we actually have an acronym for it. The acronym is FORO. F-O, FORO. Mine is F-O-S-R-O, FOSRO. That's kind of a fun name. So FOSRO for me is, when we do demonstration, the first thing you want to show people is a face. F stands for face. Got a 3 or 4 foot distance. Faces are really something that's difficult in the past to see, not only the features, the twinkle in the eye, the expression. So the thing out of the box, when you show somebody the IrisVision, Zack and I always go right to faces. You want to talk about that for your experience?
Yeah, so absolutely. The first time, you know, I take the device out, and when I have it on, I have them look at a face. If they have their friends or family members in the room, I encourage them to look at them. If there's nobody in the room, then I just have them focus at me. And while they're looking at me, you know, I just talk to them about their eye condition and other stuff, and I keep them engaged and have them look at my face for a few minutes. And that is really important because the first time you wear the device, it takes a few minutes for your eyes and your brains to coordinate. So when they are looking at me, I'm just talking to them, and I'm asking them to zoom in and zoom out. So using the swiping action on the touchpad, have them either zoom in and zoom out, and let them practice that on my face. And usually, you know, they will throw out a comment or a joke, you know, that, oh my God, you're too close, or I can see, you know, that you have not shaved today, or something like that. And it kind of, you know, sets the tone right. And I try to keep them on my face for as long as I can. And then maybe if they're family members, they can look at them also.
That's good. And I know some distributors have been using a Bluetooth remote and being able to, at first, actually zooming in and then zooming out with the remote for the person. So something that I haven't done a lot of, but it's an interesting thing. So you have some elderly people, you want to break it down into smaller steps. That might be something you could do. But you're right, because when they first look at your face, you can tell by their expression they're not sure yet, and then all of a sudden you'll see, oh my gosh, that it dawns on them that they're really seeing the whole extent of the ability to see the features and so forth. So the colors, the shapes. One lady said, "Your face is really pink," you know. With Dr. Werblin, we were in Australia, she said, "You have a beard. I didn't even know you had a beard, and you have wrinkles." And so it's just kind of fun. It's like you were saying, engage. The thing we go to is just simple objects on the table. What do you use?
So you know, it depends if I'm at somebody's house or if they come into our office or demo. Usually I'll have a coffee cup or other objects on the table or on the wall. After they are done looking at my face, and now, you know, usually some of the patients that we see, they really want to jump into reading. Now you want to put off reading as far as you can, because you want them to have that device on their face for a longer period of time, so their eyes and their brains can adjust. So I go into, you know, objects around the room. It could be a coffee cup, a water bottle, or, you know, something else. The charging pad is another good thing that they can look at. It kind of amazes them also how the IrisVision can get charged through an inductive charger. So if the charging pad is on the table, I just tell them that this is how you're going to charge your unit. And I'm talking to them, and they're looking at the charger in their hands. So, yeah.
I just think as a user that it opens the whole world when you can take IrisVision to different situations. So my next thing is standing up. I say, let's stand up for just a moment. And if I'm in their home, I'll look around the room and pick a few things that I think might be good. Have them walk with it or whatever, but just to walk over to a painting on the wall, or over the kitchen to look at the microwave, or look at the digital readout on. We had a woman who was using her oven. She said, I had no idea there was this many settings on the oven. But just standing up and using a visual aid to do that. So FOS is faces, objects, stand up. And then we'll start to introduce a little bit of reading. And now, I always talk about newspaper or whatever. In my mind is if you go from step 1 to step 10, want to start with newspaper because in my mind that's step 10. So in working with occupational therapists through my career, they always break things down into very small little chunks so that you get a success at one time. And so what I've done is worked with a company that has a 3-ring binder, and this ends up being a little reading stand that the reading material is still, instead of having to move your head and move your hands. And I just developed about 45 pages of text just to make it easier and get a little bit more success right from the start. So I started with 40-point type, with lots of space in between each line, and then going down to 36, 32, 30, and so forth. So this is available through us at IrisVision for you. I also actually dispense this to customers directly. I tell them that I want you to use this 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the afternoon, and 20 minutes at night. I want you to use it every day. Don't just buy it and then skip a day and decide, oh, I don't want to read or I don't want to use this today. It's really getting your eye, your brain to working together with something brand new that you haven't done before. That takes time. So the first day they might go through and read 8 or 10 pages of this. The second day, the same thing, start over. The second day I was able to read 15 pages, you know. They'll get a sense themselves that they're actually getting slightly better and slightly better. Then way down near the end, they'll be able to get to what I call step 9 or step 10, which is small print. So you be able to get that. Now in their home, you might consider as a practitioner maybe dispensing some kind of a reading stand if somebody wants to sit at the table and read. But also don't forget about that picture button. Have your book to be able to hold that, take a picture, and then set the book down and be able to enlarge it and see what's on the screen that way. With a picture, make sure the book is higher. You want to be looking down and take a picture because then your neck and your head is in a downward position. So I like to, when I take a picture, I like to have my head nice and high, take the picture, and I can sit back in my chair, relax, and read what's on the screen. We have a woman in Arizona recently that has Stargardt's, and she's barely visually impaired. And she was able to, she's part of the Toastmasters Society. She was able to actually use her, they allowed her to use her note card. So she did the entire speech after taking the picture and being able to see all her notes and able to develop the speech, and it worked out really good. And she paused and then actually did the entire speech in Spanish, and then housing standing ovation at the very end. So that was a kind of a neat story. So these are the stories that we love to hear, and some of the things. So the final thing, the final letter O is for outdoors. And because of shield, the size of the unit, which we always talk about now, you know, bulkiness is maybe one of the things that we always hear feedback about. But one advantage of the bulkiness is that shield and the able to use it outdoors. During a demonstration, I really like to, if it's sunny out, with people that have photophobia or have light sensitivity issues, they can go right outside. I can stand right in the sun. So Foundation, we had lots of people with cone dystrophy, other dystrophies where the photophobia was a big issue for them. In fact, people with some of those more severe cases could not really see very well at all. It's actually painful for them. We went outside with the IrisVision, they just flipped. They were like, oh my God, I can see far away, I can see close. There's no discomfort at all with the outdoors. So FOSRO is the one that we talk about. Faces, objects, and then standing up, read, and then outdoors. If you use that as kind of a guide, you may find your demonstrations work out pretty well. few things that I've noticed. So as I mentioned before, the comments or the only negative feedback we get, of course, technology isn't there yet to give us a sleek, new, looks like sunglasses type of technology. So the bulkiness is one thing that I actually have just found is easy to address right from the start. That is, it's in their mind already, and so by not talking about it, I think it's actually detrimental. I just bring it up right from the start. I say, you know, as a user, or maybe you would say it this way, they know that this technology is groundbreaking, and we know slightly big, and what we found is that people with macular degeneration, and this is kind of an interesting topic, I think, many people don't look like they have a disability at all. So they can do their entire day and not have to tell anybody they have a visual disability, right? So it's a hidden disability. So you put this on, now you're actually saying that you have a disability. So that's interesting, I think, psychologically, and I'm going to talk more about that in future videos. But what I want to say to them now is, you know, put this on and you begin to get 10 times improvement. You get to feel this immersive experience. It's not like other products where the screens are farther from your eye and they're small and you can see magnified images, but it's not an immersive experience. So the advantage of this bulkiness is you're right in there, you're right in the scene. And then as you read or as you see faces, you start to use it. Amazing that you really know that your vision is changing. I know over time when I start to use it, my brain is like, wants more of this and more of this. And so I would say, honestly, you not want to use this in public, you know, the first couple of weeks. But you practice, you get used to it, and I can almost guarantee you that over time, you feel that you're getting 10 times improvement in your vision. For instance, my vision is like 2400 on the eye chart. I know I can see 2040 very easily. Why would I then think about, oh, maybe I'll start using it in other situations? So it doesn't come easy to people, but let's talk about it. Let's be open with people about it. And you'll find that they're able to talk a little bit about it to say, well, I had a woman in Australia, she was in front of a big group. She said, I'll never put that on my head. And after we did our demo, she looked at my pink face. She looked at Dr. Werblum's beard. She said, well, this is fantastic. She said, and her daughter came over, and her daughter said, I thought you weren't going to wear that. She said, oh, this is great. My vision, within a half hour time, she realized that, wow, this really could change things. And so she now wear it in public the first day, and she's certainly going to wear it from now on, she said. So that was pretty amazing. So I just like to bring that topic up. Eccentric viewing, don't get to prompt people. Use an eye chart. Zack uses a simple eye chart. That's simple. I go to precisionvision.com and to add Pupillary Distance. I myself use a fine bloom chart. So they get a measurement, get a sense of what the person's vision is. For instance, if they can only see the first couple lines, and later when we get to the end of the demo, we'll bring this out again and find out that they can go all the way to the bottom of the chart. Get at different distances, experiment a little bit with it. With the simple chart, I use it because it's three on the chart, so it makes it very simple. Many people say, you know, I can see the 9 and the 7, I really can't see the 4. And then you get to prompt them a little bit to move their eye and say, oh yeah, the 4 came right in. And we call it eccentric viewing, the advantage of moving that blind spot out of the way. If they get good at that, we tell them now, you have to practice that. And you use that skill of eccentric viewing while you have the IrisVision on. So we know the blind spot's there, but it looks like it's not there when they're wearing the IrisVision. So if they're not able to see somebody's face, remember what we did? We taught you how to cheat. We taught you how to move your eyes slightly. Oh my gosh, there's the face. It came right And so it gives people a way to consciously move their spot and consciously practice and find the best place for them to look. It's a great tool to introduce the concept of eccentric viewing to people.
That's really great information, Tom. So I know we're running out of time, but I'll just throw this in. So what I've been doing lately and in my demos, when I move to the reading, before we start reading, I do the eye chart, and I've got a simple eye chart. Now I have them read it without IrisVision, and then I have them put IrisVision on, and you could see that they're just, you know, reading line after line after line all the way to the end. So then they kind of develop that confidence that, oh my God, I can read these letters. And then I move into reading. Reading can be tricky sometimes for some patients. Others pick it up really good. But just getting that validation that they can read smaller letters on an eye chart, it gives them pretty good validation and confidence that, you know, with a little bit of practice, they would be able to.
I know numbers too, to watch that. Wow, they only went down 3 lines. They went down 10 lines. That's pretty good validation, right? And the whole idea of rehabilitation is using it every day, practicing 3 times a day. Don't skip a